Am I in focus? I'm using a manual focus lens and I can't tell. I can't see I sort of can see when it turns green. Is that it? Is it? I'm trying to find the focus peaking on Nikon does kind of suck. All right, what's up, everybody? Johnny English here, and now that I'm actually recording the audio, I've already done this video once, and I remembered the camera. I remembered that. I didn't remember the audio because I'm trying to record it separately. I've never done this separately. So I'm not even going to get into how I used to do the vape videos and all that because it's ridiculous. The quality was bad, obviously. But now, hopefully, I'm trying to get better quality. I'm actually filming with a Nikon ZF with a manual focus lens. That's why I'm looking for the green box. I'm trying to make sure it's in focus. I don't know if it's even in focus or not. The lighting probably sucks because that was just thrown together, hacked together. I'm in my bedroom. Thank God I'm at 1.4, so you can't see all the crap clutter too much on my dresser behind me. But anyway, ZF, and I have the Voigtlander 58 millimeter, old classic lens, Voigtlander 58 millimeter f1.4 SL2. It is a brilliant photography lens. I don't know how it's going to do with video. I have no clue. I didn't even put my quarter mist or whatever bullshit filter that you're supposed to, the YouTube douche tubers are doing these days. I didn't even put that on there. I am filming it. I'm doing N-Log though. I am doing N-Log, H.265, and what else? 24 frames a second, blah, blah, blah. Not that anybody cares. Some people out there do. I don't know why it's such a big deal to have your pretty colors just perfect and you spend 2 hours color grading your fucking YouTube video. It doesn't, I don't get it. I really just don't get the whole thing. It is, I guess people need a hobby. People need something to do. So anyway, I wanted to make this little video, whether it be in focus or out of focus, but I swear I'll use autofocus lenses from now on. I just wanted to try this to see how it worked. I just wanted to throw up a video, and I am planning on some more videos. I am planning on getting rid of all the old vape shit. You know, I continue erasing those. I've erased quite a few of them, but I want to get rid of all of them. But I wanted to be able to replace the videos as I delete them with newer videos. If you look on the channel now, the last video I think probably has something to do with Fuji. Back when I was shooting Fuji, I did shoot Fuji for a couple of years, strictly nothing but Fuji. Shot a wedding with it and was doing the racetrack stuff and even did some portraits and stuff like that. For the most part, it worked out pretty well. The wedding was rough. It was pretty rough. I don't know Flash very well, and for some reason I couldn't get it to work when I did the wedding. So I was really up shit creek without a paddle, because the low lighting was horrible with a APS-C sensor with no flash. It was pretty shitty. But anyway, so I decided once that I knew that Fuji wasn't it anymore. Mostly because the firmware kept breaking the autofocus and making it worse. So around firmware version 3-ish, I think it was before 4, but it was after 3, and it was just getting to the point where it was just unusable almost. Even and I was shooting all photography. I wasn't even shooting video, and it was horrible. And between that and the low light capabilities being not as good as a full frame camera is, I couldn't do it anymore. I gave up and I went back to Nikon, and honestly, I went back to a Nikon DSLR because I had this thing in my head. I was like, screw it. I'm going to learn more about photography and I want to learn my craft. And I bought a D850. I went ahead and got a Z6 II just because I needed a mirrorless camera in my life. So I bought the D850, a bunch of F-mount lenses, and it worked out pretty well. I actually had a really good time shooting that camera, but I just couldn't get away from the mirrorless. Once you shoot mirrorless, it's hard to go back. Now, as a hobby, as just playing around every once in a while, it's probably fine. But when it was me trying to do pro work with it, little bit different story. I couldn't do it. So eventually I ended up with a Z8, the ZF, And you're going to hear me go back and forth between Z and Z because to me, ZF sounds good. ZF makes sense. Z8 doesn't. Z9 kind of does. Z6 III, no. That doesn't sound right. There's too many words. It's just too many words involved. So Z6 III. I had one of those too, actually. I just got rid of it and got another Z8. But anyway, and I'll talk about that in future videos because I'll talk about the differences between the Z8 and the Z6 III in case you're curious, in case you're wondering if you're trying to decide between the two. I would say if you have the budget for a Z8, get the Z8. I mean, that's just the way it is. If you don't have the budget and a Z6 III is all you can afford, then get the Z6 III. It will do 95%. 90 to 95% of what a Z8 will do. So, and again, it's purely up to you and your budget. I would say don't go into debt. Don't go deep into debt, just to have a few more specs, an 8K video that you'll probably never use. The autofocus is slightly better, not much. And, body's a little bit bigger. The body's closer than you think. Those of you out there, am I in focus still? Am I out? I swear, I can't see the damn green square from here. I need a magnifier so I can see it. I know you see it's manual focus. So don't be giving me shit saying, see, Nikon focus sucks. No, it's manual focus, dummy. I completely lost track of where I was at. I don't even know what the hell I was talking. It'll be for another video, though. This is just more of an new introductory video for the channel. You may have seen me in some of the comments of some of the big douche tubers every once in a while. I finally got tired of calling Toneh out. I just, because at this point he's doing it on purpose. He's engagement farming, and that's what most of these guys are doing. Jared Polin, engagement farming. Tony Northrup, engagement farming. They all do it. They all use clickbait titles. Even Casey Camera Conspiracy, same thing. Clickbait bullshit titles. They say things in their videos to get people, a certain crowd, pissed off, so that they'll comment. And the more they comment, the more money they make, if you get what I'm saying. Because the more engagement on their channel helps the algorithm boost their video. So the more you comment, the more money they're going to make off of that video. That's just the way it is. And if you didn't know that, you know it now. Stop commenting. If you really hate them that much, don't comment anymore. That's what I did. I can't respect Tony Northrup anymore. I have zero respect for that man. And, him or Jared Polin. Jared Polin, back in the day, Tony and Jared both had videos helping photographers, because I watched some of them really, really old videos when I was starting to get into photography like 6 years ago. I watched some of them to learn some of the stuff here and there. But then slowly over time, they started doing more opinion pieces. And you could see that they were tied to certain companies. They're both tied to more Canon, Sony, and Nikon hurt their feelings at some point. Tony, where did Nikon hurt you? I think it was right here. If you don't like a company, if a company pisses you off, then why would you waste your time talking so much about them? Because they could be doing a video on something completely different, Canon, Sony, whatever, and they will find a way to shit on Nikon every single time. And most of it's not even warranted anymore. I mean, look what Jared does. He'll do a preview of a Nikon camera, and that's it. And then he never comes back to it except to shit on the autofocus. Everybody else, Canon, Sony, they all get nice previews and reviews and guides, user guides. They get the whole works for most of their cameras, but Nikon, no. Nikon really hurt Jared. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if maybe there was too much baby lotion involved, not enough baby lotion involved. I have no idea. But there was definitely something that happened. Same thing with Toneh. Even though Tony's kind of admitted, because he and Chelsea shit on the Z6, the original Z6, that maybe is why Nikon had this hard on for him. And maybe, you know, but that's not right for Nikon to do either. You know, it's that, because that doesn't really encourage truthfulness. You know, if you ban a YouTuber for talking shit about your camera when it deserved it, you know, that's kind of wrong too, in a sense. So I have a hard time respecting that. But at some point, you know, if you have to make a video calling out Nikon fanboys because they just constantly are calling you out for the bullshit that you say, it's probably you. It's probably not Nikon. It's you. Your butt hurt. Get over it. Just get over it, dude. Who cares? You know, who gives a shit? You live in a nice big ass house up there on the somewhere in whereverville, Liberalville. You know, you and Chelsea have a nice life. You know, and here you are. You just have to take pot shots at Nikon every chance you get. You know, you just have to shit on them. And the funny thing is, you don't shit on Fuji at all for their autofocus. And Fuji autofocus is by far the worst in the business. By far. Like Panasonic jumped way over. They just jumped right past them. So, and I know because I shot it for 2 years. The XH2S, the XH2, the XT5. I shot all three of them for 2 years. And trust me when I tell you, the autofocus wasn't that great. It wasn't what Fuji promised to begin with, and it got worse. It got way worse. Supposedly it's better now. I don't know. Don't really give a shit. The next Fuji I buy would be for strictly street photography, shooting it at f8 in zone focus. I wouldn't even need autofocus. I could have it on manual focus, and I'll get my shots. So that's just the way it is. But anyway, if you don't like a company, why are you wasting your time just shitting on them all the time? I don't get it. I really don't. I hate Sony with a passion. I hate Sony Corporation. I hate the fact that they have sensors. They made the sensors that go in some of these cameras that I love, but I'm not going to constantly shit on them. I'm not going to throw a Sony jab every chance I possibly can. I just don't care about them anymore. I don't care how good the A9 II is. I don't care how good, the A1 II. I don't care the A9 III. I don't care how great their autofocus is. I don't give a shit. Nikon works for me. I love Nikon. I love the colors. I love everything about Nikon. I don't need the best autofocus, unlike Jared Polin apparently needs the best autofocus on the planet to get good shots. I don't. I'm doing just fine. I'm not really selling too much of my stuff, and I'm not worried about it because I have a good day job. I have a damn good day job. I could shoot with anything I want. I could live in a nicer house. I could live in or drive a nicer car. I could be shooting Leicas and Hasselblads if I wanted to, but I don't. Because those things I don't connect. I just don't connect to material objects anymore. And those of you out there, if you're connected to material objects and that's all you're worried about, you're going to learn a hard lesson one of these days, because that shit goes away. That shit fades, you know? And if you don't connect to something and stick with that something because you connected to it and you jumped over to the other side because you thought the grass was greener, or because people would think you look cooler, because let's be honest, a lot of you are shooting with Fuji cameras and cameras with the dials and all that shit because you want people to walk up to you and tell you how cool your camera is. You need that in your life. And that's fine if you need that. But what happens after? What happens after that? You know? What happens when nobody gives a shit anymore that you're shooting at a Major League Baseball game? What's going to happen when nobody gives a shit that you got these long-ass white Canon lenses? And they just don't care. And they're like, well, your images look like everybody else's. You've got $20,000 worth of gear on your shoulder, but the photos look exactly the same as the dude that was shooting with a Tamron lens. You know, it's photography's at a point now where it just don't matter anymore. It's all about heart and soul and how you're feeling. And art is subjective anyway. And you're worried about what gear you're lugging around. You're worried about being known for shooting with a certain piece of gear instead of taking what you can get your hands on that you connect with and making something with it and creating art or creating something for yourself. Why has it got to be for everybody else anyway? Create something for yourself. Quit worrying about what other people think about you. Art is subjective. It's the same thing with colors. The only thing that's not subjective is, well, nothing. Everything is subjective. Everything is subjective. Other people's opinions of shit shouldn't matter to you. Why does it? Why does it matter to you so much that you have to shit on other people and other things and other material objects to make yourself feel better about what you shoot? And honestly, at this point, it's our fault for making these YouTubers feel or do what they do because we're the ones that made them. All of you that comment in Jared Poland's videos and Toneh Northrup's videos, you get sucked into their clickbait titles, and then they say something in their video to trigger you just to get you to comment because it pushes their video in the algorithms and they make more money. You're the reason they're still around. You only have yourself to blame. We only have ourselves to blame. You know? So you can bitch all you want and say how they talk shit and all this, you know, but I put my money where my mouth is. I don't watch them nearly as much as I used to. I'll let them sucker me in every once in a while if there's a Nikon camera on their thumbnail or something. But other than that, I don't comment anymore because commenting is probably worse than watching the video because that's actual. YouTube knows that you had to type that shit in. You know what I mean? So somehow that boosts the algorithm. So Toneh Northrup has been using that for I don't know how long now because he's desperate. He and Jared and a few others have lost thousands and thousands of views on their videos. Don't take my word for it. Go and look through their library. Look through their video library. Look for 2 or 3 years ago to now. Look at the view count on each video. I mean, it's more than obvious they're getting desperate. That's why, you know, you see Toneh coming out with Fuji or Nikon fanboy videos because he's desperate because nobody gives a shit about anything else he says. Nobody cares about his news because we already knew about it before he made the video. He acts like he's the first to report it when he's actually the last. And same thing with Jared. It's like most of that shit's already out and well known before they even do their damn videos. And then they just throw shade at Nikon or they throw shade at somebody else or something else and get you pissed off. And then you go, you type it in the comments section. I've caught myself doing it. You know, I know it happens because I've caught myself doing it. Casey, Camera Conspiracies, perfect example. His entire channel is built off that shit. You can learn stuff from these people. You know, even Casey, you can learn stuff from them. But they're not interested in teaching people anything. They just want to make money. They're in it for the money. All these people are in it for the money and YouTube fame. That's it. They're not in it to help you anymore. They changed. You just have to face it. They changed. Because money changes people. Fame changes people. And that's just the bottom line. It can change anybody at any given time. So again, we only have ourselves to blame. We are the reason they are the way they are. Now, maybe they've had that deep down inside them their entire lives, and maybe they're just dickheads anyway. But the point is, it came out when they started making the money. It came out when they started getting the fame. People start coming up to them, "Oh, are you fro? Oh, righteous dude." You know, shit like that. They love that shit. They love being famous. They think they're famous. They're really not because nobody else outside of YouTube knows who they are. But other than that, it just doesn't make any sense to me why they even waste their time saying some of the shit they do. But then again, it does make perfect sense. It makes them money. That's the cool shit you're going to hear from me on this channel. Me raving about other douche tubers. While I'm trying to be a douche tuber. But at least I'm honest. At least, you know, I will shit on myself and I'm honest about things. I'm not going to bullshit you. And again, not sponsored by Square Dick or Skill Fuck or Storycock. I'm not, I'm not going to be sponsored, and I don't give a shit to be sponsored. I don't need the money. I make a great living. I don't need any of that money and any of that bullshit. I'm just going to come on here and try to be honest with you guys. And if I get wild hair to call somebody out, I will. If you appreciate those kind of videos, say it. If you want those videos, maybe I'll do them. I don't know. I'll do what you want me to do. What the hell? What is it do you want from somebody that's different? What kind of different shit do you want? It won't be the best production, I can tell you that. It won't be the best audio or the best lighting, and it's not going to be always filmed in RAW and in log and all this bullshit, color graded perfectly. So, definitely won't be pre-written down. This is all just off the top of my head. I don't write shit down. I don't use teleprompters. So if you got any ideas of stuff you want to see, let me know. I even to the point where I might buy some old camera shit and try to use it. I don't know, whatever. I really had a good idea not too long ago. I wish I could have had access to broken cameras, like newer cameras that are just junk, and take them apart so we can see what all's on the inside. I think that would be kind of cool. Kind of a tear down type deal. But anyway, hey, thanks if you've lasted this long, that's awesome. And if I've been out of focus this whole fucking time, I apologize. But I'm going to upload the video anyway. I don't give a shit. I don't care if the whole thing is out of focus. Who cares? Who cares? I don't care. Do you care? I don't care. That'd be cool to have a video channel always out of focus. Blurry the whole fucking thing. That would be so cool. Don't steal my idea. Anyway, see ya.